Hello and welcome to another episode of Super Nerds UK.
Hello, we're going to be discussing today our favourite films that may have sneaked under your radar, the best of the unseen.
Yeah, I mean, some of these have been out for quite a while now, but they may just be films that you may not have been caught.
They may not have had wide releases,
Yeah.
we've just caught them in video shops. Remember them?
Yeah.
A long time ago, but they're definitely ones that I like to revisit.
Yeah, something, you can always come back to and watch, and they're probably some of them are classics now, but they just may not have heard of them before. You may have, that's great. Maybe you can tell us some of the films that you think have sneaked under the radar that we may not have seen. So
I'll go first.
Okay, go for it, mate.
First film I'm going to talk about is Right at Your Door, starring Rory Cochrane, who is not the most famous actor in the world. You'd think he ended up in something CSI in Miami or something like that. But it was a film that genuinely terrified me. It wasn't a horror film, believe it or not. It's about a film. It's a film where dirty bombs are set off. I think it's
LA.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The fella, Rory Cochrane, has to decide whether he lets his wife back into the house after he shuts it up to not get the dirty bomb in, or whether to leave his wife outside because she's already contaminated, so she's probably going to die anyway. The thing about the way it's all filmed with handheld camera. It really makes you think. It was one of them films that you don't realise how good it is until you've left the cinema.
Okay.
And then you get home and you start thinking about it. And I remember going to bed that night and I was thinking about it. And it was quite a scary film because obviously we live with 24-hour news and we see the threats are all around all the time, don't you?
Especially with recent events.
Especially with recent events, and you wonder how long is it before this is going to happen. And like I said, it's filmed in a very realistic way. It's not documentary style. It's a fiction film, but it's just it really grabs your attention. And to be honest with you, all the films I've seen, all the big budget films I've seen, none got me as emotive as this film did. It scared me, and it's quite an emotive film. It's called Right at Your Door, starring Rory Cochrane. It was made in 2006. Didn't get a wide release, but somehow I managed to see it in the pictures. I still don't know why. Give it a watch, and after you've watched it, give me a comment. Tell me, is it as good as what they say it is?
Yeah, definitely. I've actually not seen the film. I've seen the trailer, which is why I knew it was set in LA. But it does look very intense.
That's the word I'd describe it. It's an intense film.
Yeah,
it's an intense experience watching it. It's
very suspenseful. One to look out for, definitely. I would like to see it myself. Another one for me is Dark City, which came out in 1998. It's kind of a neo-noir kind of film, very dark, very elusive, I think is a good one. It's science fiction, and it's the sort of film you don't know it's going to be science fiction until you start watching it. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it stars Rufus Sewell and Kiefer Sutherland, amongst a few others, Jennifer Connelly, and it just kind of grabs you. It's kind of like, ooh, what's going to happen next, I wonder, sort of thing. And the way things build up, I don't really want to give anything away. It's one of those films you really have to watch for yourself.
It's a film as well that you have to pay attention in from the opening credits to the end credits. It's not. I find it this day and age. A lot of people watch films with phones in the hand and they're fiddling about and they haven't got the concentration they used to have. It's a film that you really have to, because you will miss something.
And definitely watch it in the dark.
Yeah.
It's one that you need to have, sit down, bit of popcorn, drink, turn the TV on, turn the lights off, kids are in bed, and
it was made in, was it
98?
98. Yeah. I didn't see it till around about 2001, I don't think. Yeah. I missed the wide release.
Actually, I did too. It was a friend of mine who introduced it to me, a mutual friend we have. And he bought it on DVD. We watched it in his room, and blew me away. I was just like, this film is something special. So I've bought it on Blu-ray. There's a director's cut version. You can get both the director's cut and the theatrical version on the same disc. So you've got the option if you want to watch either. Just watch the director's cut. It's great. So definitely thumbs up for that, and keep a lookout for that one. It's a great film.
My second film we're going to talk about is a film called The Monster Squad, which I think, I wouldn't say nobody's seen. I think maybe a few years. Could be a bit of a cult hit now, yeah. Yeah. It's basically the Goonies with the Universal monsters thrown in.
Yeah. Okay.
All the characters. There's like 5 kids. All the characters are very similar to the ones in the Goonies. But like I said, it's got the Universal monsters in, and they're done like the Universal films. The Dracula is the big collar wearing Kate wearing Dracula. The Wolfman, and it is the Wolfman, he's not a werewolf, he's a Wolfman, he walks around with a ripped shirt, jeans. And
is this made back in the 80s, was it?
Yeah, 86.
86,
I think.
So practical effects.
Practical effects, yeah.
If you watch our other video, we've talked about practical effects versus
I think you might get a bit of CGI thunder strikes in there, and that's about it. Everything else is pretty much practical effects. But you've got Dracula's brides in there. Everything that a fan of horror film likes from the classic horror films are in there. You've got Gilman in there. You've got the Mummy in there. And if you're watching it younger, I wouldn't say it's scary, but it is a horror film. But then you watch it when you're older, and it's pretty much it's a comedy horror type thing. It's
a kind of black comedy.
Like a black comedy. Yeah. It's got one of the best lines I've ever heard in it. Wolfman's got nards. It's one of the funniest lines I've ever seen. And if you watch the film, you'll see it in context. But you go on the internet, you can find T-shirts with the words "Wolfman's got nards" on it. It's absolutely fantastic film. Something I revisit again and again and again, and it's definitely one to put on a Halloween.
Great. Another one for me is, I've forgotten what it's called now. Strange Days. Sorry. Yes. One of the this has got probably one of the most intense opening scenes I've seen in a movie for a long time. This is a film that stars Ralph Fiennes, Angela Bassett. The characters in this are fantastic. It was directed by a lady called Catherine Bigelow. Is that right? Bigelow?
Bigelow.
Sorry if I messed that up. And this was made in 2000. No, it's not 2000. Sorry, 1995, I believe. And it's based around the Millennium New Year's Eve. It builds up to the Millennium New Year's Eve. It's set in the future.
It was very small, future then.
Very short future from there. Yeah, it's in the past now. But basically what it involves is you've got this way of recording people's minds and memories, and people wear these things on their head, and it records everything that's going on in their mind through their eyes. So all the sound, everything they see is recorded, and they play it back just like a normal video. And not only do you play it back, but you also feel the emotions and everything that's going on in their mind at the time, so you kind of relive in someone's memory. It's really fascinating how it's done, and it's an incredible storyline. Excellent actors, excellent acting, excellent direction. Opening scene for the first 5 minutes is just grips you. We actually watched it on New Year's Eve 1999, and it was a great film to watch with that.
It's another one of them films, isn't it, that after the film's finished, it makes you ask questions about it, doesn't it? It's one you think about after you're finished. It's not just one you watch and then forget about it.
Yeah.
It has pretty intense questions, and it's done by the director of Point Break as well.
Yeah, it's not one for the kids.
No, definitely
definitely not. Adult, sort of orientated. But great film.
Fantastic film. My final film I'm going to talk about is a film called Empire Records. I wouldn't even say it's a cult hit. I don't think many people have seen it. It's probably for younger viewers, i.e. teenagers to early 20s. Quite a big cast list. It's a big cast list in it with Liv Tyler, Renée Zellweger, Robin Tunney from End of Days, and The Craft.
Yeah.
Ronnie Cochran, who I've just mentioned, who was in Right at Your Door. He's probably the best thing in it. Really, really funny. Really good performance in it. Basically, it's about these kids who are working in a record shop, and apparently a big company is going to buy them out, and basically the teenagers who work in the shop trying to stop these people from buying them out and trying to raise the money. But one of the things about it, it's got absolutely fantastic soundtrack in it. It's got Romeo and Juliet in by Dire Straits, AC/DC, One Blood, all that type of stuff, and there's a lot of montage of the music. It's a very MTV generation.
What year was it?
It was made in 1994.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Renée Zellweger pre-Bridget Jones and pre
All right.
what was the other one she made with Tom Cruise? The sports agent, Jerry Maguire, pre-Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's a film I really, and it's one I revisit again and again. I've discovered this. Talking about the soundtrack, I discovered now is one of my favourite songs of all time that I have to listen to every day. Through that film, it's by a band called The, and the song is called I forgot what it's called. This is the day.
This is the day.
It's a great song, and it's a good song to listen to every day because it gets you ready for the day. But Empire Records, one I revisit. What's your last one, Tim?
My last one is quite an old film now. It's probably a bit of a cult hit. It's not the best film ever made, but it's just one that I enjoy, and it's called Robot Jox. Made in 1989, I think. Yes. This directed by Stuart Gordon. Starring probably a cast you've never seen again in your life. I think I've seen one of them in another film. I can't remember what it was now. But yeah, it stars Gary Graham, Anne-Marie Johnson, and a few others. Basically, the gist of the story is that it's set in the future. There's been wars going on for years, and instead of like killing thousands of soldiers and having nuclear wars and stuff, they decide to make land a prize, basically. So you have these heroes from each country, from the likes of Russia and America, fighting for land in regions of the world for resources like oil, timber, so on and so forth. And the way they fight is in these giant mechanized robots.
Oh, like Power Rangers.
Yeah, in a kind of sense, but instead of like them all joining up to make one big robot, they're just a big robot.
So it's not an 80s version of Pacific Rim then, no?
No, but the robot's about the size of Pacific Rim's robots.
Right.
So you have basically the guys sitting in these robots, controlling them, shooting each other, fighting over this land. It's a fun film. It's not best by any means. It's not probably as good as the other two I've already mentioned, but it's a bit of fun. The effects are a bit ropey now. It's 1989, but it holds up okay. It's not too bad. It's very simple storyline. So yeah, it's worth a watch if you've not heard of it before, or if you've not seen it. Definitely give it a look out. I think it's on Netflix at the moment, so look out for it on there. Yeah. And
that's all the best of the unseen. I'm off now to watch Robot Jox.
Robot Jox.
On Netflix, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time on Super Nerds UK. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, give us a like, and look out for our Twitter feed and our Facebook page. And we'll see you next time on Super Nerds UK. Thank you.